Good evening and welcome to the Sports Route. We are here at Tiebreakers Sports Bar and Grill on Smithwick Drive. Last week we went on site at Rock Springs for the FCA banquet, but we're back here at Tiebreakers this week. This week we will have special guests Hearther Davenport and David Perkins with the Beach Volleyball League. Beach volleyball is really exploding here in the county, so we want them to come on and talk about the program. They're got a grassroots effort trying to get courts over at Boyd Lee Park, so we're going to talk about that effort. And got high school teams and Carolina region teams playing throughout East North Carolina, Newbern, Wilmington, and here in Greenville, so we'll talk about those. We'll have those on shortly, and we'll also have a wrap-up of this week's scores and look ahead to next week. Play in high school is wrapping up, and Little League starting to move into interleague play. Into league play. Tar Heel and North State are starting to wrap up their interleague play, and we'll start league play later this week. I want to thank our sponsors, Tiebreakers Sports Bar and Grill at Smithwick Drive in Greenville, and also Pew's Tire and Service Center. We thank them for their sponsorship. We'll be right back after these messages with David Perkins and Hearther Davenport with Beach Volleyball.
Hey craft beer fans, did you know that Tiebreakers now stocks over 50 craft beers? We have slowly added to our craft beer menu and are continuing to add new crafts weekly with your help. Stop by after work and try one of your favorite craft beers and enjoy one of our handcrafted appetizers, burgers, or salads. If you're serious about your craft beer, then find us on the Untapped app. Tiebreakers is your local spot for food, sports, and entertainment.
Find me the best price on quality tires.
Choose Pew's.
Okay, find me automotive service that I can trust.
Choose Pew's.
It's true. Choosy drivers searching for tires and service they can trust. Choose Pew's.
Now through May 7th, when you buy 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, you can receive a $70 Visa prepaid card by mail. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion.
For quality tires and automotive service you can trust, choose Pew's, where your first price is the right price, guaranteed.
Hey Greenville, are you tired of paying way too much for average food? Then plug Tiebreakers into your GPS and try some of our handcrafted plates. Tiebreakers does all the extra things that the chain restaurants don't do. We hand cut and bread our boneless wings, we hand patty our Angus burgers, we even hand cut and bread our own cheese sticks. Tiebreakers always goes that extra mile for you, our customer. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and caterings. Tiebreakers is your local spot for food, sports, and entertainment.
Welcome back to the Sports Route. We are here at Tiebreakers Sports Bar and Grill on Smithwick Drive for our weekly edition of the Sports Route. I'd like to welcome Hearther Davenport and David Perkins with the Beach Volleyball League here in Greenville, and talk with Hearther. And this sport is really growing, and just kind of want to go back to the genesis of this. David, I understand probably 4 or 5 years ago you took some girls out to Sonic, and that went from maybe a fun time to competition. Just kind of tell us how this got going.
Yeah, it was a little bit longer than that. I think it was around like 2000, 2001.
Okay, wow.
And I think what was going on, I had like a rec team that I was coaching, and we needed to find some extra court time. We only could get in like one night a week or something, and that Sonic court was out there, so we started going out there to practice a little bit. And that's kind of how the whole thing started. And then I actually played in an adult tournament probably around like 2003, 2004. It was a grass outdoor tournament. But where we played was up in Raleigh. It was close to JC Park. And I saw some juniors playing, beach doubles out there. So I talked to the girls, and they wanted to try it and stuff, so that's kind of how it got started. We got the group together, started playing at Sonic a little bit, training, and going out there and playing the tournaments.
Now, Heather, I know there was you told me there was a core group of parents that got involved. Just kind of tell me how you got involved with this. I know you have a couple of daughters.
Yes. I met David about 5 years ago when he started coaching my now 17-year-old, and she was 12 at the time, and he coached her in indoor, and took them out to the beach court one day, and that's how we got started. And now I have a little one who's now 12. She's in it, been playing for 3 years, so that's how I got tied up with David. And now there's a group of 6 parents that we're working with the Greenville Rec and Parks Department to get some courts, and it's been approved to go to at Boyd Lee Park. So we're ready to start fundraising.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about the competition level. Mm-hmm. There's a high school team and also the Carolina region team. So just kind of give our listeners and viewers just an idea of how that breaks down as far as the competition?
Sure. So first we have Carolina East Beach Volleyball Club, and David is the head coach of that, and I help him run it. We started off with 29 members last year, and we hit 60 members today. And those girls come out and practice, and 3 days a week. They may go to competitions, they may not. It's up to them. It's driven by the individual, and there's a tournament available every weekend in the summer, so that it's kind of up to them. And we got, like I said, 60 girls, and then Rose started 3 years ago under a club sport, and we started off with 8 people, and this year we have 20 people on our team, 11 girls and 9 guys. And then Conley David and I helped Conley get off their feet, and they have their own team now, and they have, I think, 8 members on their team.
Yep.
So it's just getting big, I mean, in all areas.
Okay, let's talk about the skills of court volleyball versus beach. And I know you go from a 6-person to a 2-person, so
right.
A lot more touches on the ball. But as far as coaching these teams, footwork, technique, is there a big difference in the two sports?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference. For the most part, I mean, you got the passing, you got the setting, you got the hitting going on. A little bit of technique difference on how you make the passes, how we set the ball. The biggest thing I think in the beach game is the shots, because there's only 2 people on the other side, 2 people playing. You really have to be able to control your shot when you send it over the net. So we work on cut shots and these jumbo shots, along with the hard cross, hard line shots. And the other thing it helps you do, not only just the basic skills of the game, you also develop court vision. Because you want to put the ball where the other 2 players aren't. It's a pretty big court. But you develop a little bit of court vision and stuff, about taking a look over on the other side and putting the ball where they're not.
There's got to be some anticipation. I mean, you got to cover a lot on defense also, so that has to go into it.
And you also get to see what's getting ready to happen.
Right.
So you really get a focus on that compared to like the 6 versus 6, a whole lot of stuff going on there. So you don't always get to see what's getting ready to happen sometimes. But develop some really good court vision. And of course, you're moving out in the sand. It's not a hard surface like it is indoor. And it's an uneven surface, so it's hard to move around in. So what we find, man, is that when you do play in the sand, you finally get back on the hard court or whatever, you feel like a superhero. Move a little quicker, jump a little higher.
You've got 2 girls involved in beach volleyball, and,
yes.
And I know they played court volleyball. And I want to talk to them later about this, but just tell me in talking with them, what do they like so much about the beach game?
Well, my oldest, for sure, beach volleyball is always her thing. She is relaxed. She likes the relaxed atmosphere. When you have a team playing another team, you hear girls on one side of the court telling the other girls, good up or good hit. I mean, it's just very encouraging, and the parents are more laid back. I mean, it's outside, it's in the sand. It's just, she likes the relaxed atmosphere. And my younger one, she likes it for the same reasons as well, but she also likes that she's touching the ball every time the ball comes over the net, and she gets more touches, and it's just her and her partner. You don't have to worry about anybody else, and they love beach volleyball.
Yeah. Now for you, I know we talked about the growth over the past year. How much did the Summer Olympics with April Ross and Carrie Walsh, and just their exposure and what's them play, how much influence has that had on these young generations and wanting to get involved?
Yeah, I thought it was a great influence. I mean, that's pretty much where you saw a big explosion in the sport. Mm-hmm. And I think now with the collegiate at the collegiate level, it's an official varsity sport now. And actually they're getting ready to have their beach championship this weekend. 8 teams are going to compete for that medal. And just the skill level there alone in the collegiate, if you would have watched it maybe 3 years ago, it looked like indoor players coming out and just playing beach, but now it looks like almost professional quality players out there competing. So the level has definitely increased, and we've seen a level increase just with the juniors. Most of them are starting around 12 years old, so they've had about 4 or 5 years experience, before they get to college.
Having a son, I think anything for beach volleyball is, the guys can compete.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we have 9 guys this year on rows, and then in the USAV and the Junior Beach Tour, they have guys competing as well. I mean, the 2 high school kids I brought with us today, they only play beach. They don't play court at all. They love it that much. Some of the younger girls you see transition back and forth, but as they get older a lot, they either go one way or the other, or they still continue to play both, but both the ones I brought today beach out as much as they can.
Let's talk about the practice a little bit. I know you're at Sonic, and right now there is probably a shortage of courts, but going to get that taken care of. But just
hopefully
talk about where you practice, when you practice, and.
So right now, Carolina East, the juniors, they're Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. And Rose is out there from Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're out at Sonic a lot, and thankfully they're working with us a lot. But there's still only one court. So we have to split the times up because different age groups, and David can tell you more about that, but the different age groups need different attention. So we're having to split up the times on those days.
And David, just talk about the challenge of finding places to practice in,
right,
and giving the girls that opportunity and guys an opportunity to practice.
Yeah, I mean there's some sand courts sprinkled around Greenville, but I think there's like a certain quality of sand that you want for training the kids, certain level of equipment and stuff that you want to practice with, and we found that Sonic is pretty decent. We've done some work on that court, brought in some additional sand, replaced the net, the lines and stuff. I think the biggest challenge is when you have like 12 kids, you could have 12 or more kids on one court, so you really have to be creative, because we really don't want to have a whole lot of kids just standing in line waiting to get on the court. Right. So we want to keep them moving. So we're really creative on how we do our drills and stuff. All of them are involved. We move them around like every 1 or 2 minutes, so they're doing different things, and it's challenging. But I think for the most part, man, they have a pretty good time. We split the court instead of using the full court. We split it up to where there's like little mini courts. So we have 2 versus 2 playing on these short courts. They're getting plenty of contacts. Nobody's really waiting.
Yeah, we've seen what an advantage the new court for the ECJVC has done. They've got 2 gyms now where they can practice and host tournaments now that they're not traveling every weekend.
Right.
The importance that's been not only for the league, the kids, and the parents, and the community when we've got teams coming in. But let's talk about courts now. Trying to get courts in Greenville. I know right now Wilmington and New Bern that's the primary areas where those tournaments are being held. But let's talk about the effort, the grassroots movement here to get courts in Greenville, and what's that going to mean for it?
Well, and the courts are not Carolina East volleyball. This is just 6 parents who have come together and tried. Our kids love volleyball, beach volleyball, so we decided somebody just decided to go to Greenville Recreation Park and Greenville Recreation and Parks Department. Thank you. And went and talked to them, and they said, well, give me some more information. So we went back another time with more information, how it's growing, and each time they got more interested. They're like, this is getting big. And so the site's been approved. We've been given the green light to go and start fundraising. So we're going to have a little bit of a kickoff this Sunday, May 6th at Sonic from 3 to 5 to give people more information on the courts about fundraising, and just have some food and refreshment and get some video so we can put it up on our fundraising website.
And you're looking at getting four courts, is that right?
4 courts. So we're wanting 4 courts. That's kind of that's what they have in New Bern is 4 courts, and we can do so much more. As a club, we can do more, but like I said, this is for the community. It's for the college kids that go out to Sonic. It's for the adults that want to go out to Sonic. It's for young kids. It's for the high schools. It's for everybody that wants to enjoy beach volleyball to keep the community active.
Yeah, and David, big picture, looking forward having those courts here. I mean, what would that do for you and just the growth of the sport here?
Yeah, I mean, it could explode. I mean, the one thing that we really don't advertise that much, about the beach club, just because we know we don't have the space, so there's limited spots and stuff like that. I think with having 4 courts and stuff, we can start having competitions here in town, for the high school along with the juniors. And, we open it up for like more age groups too, as far as like 10, starting them at 10, doing some little mini games and things like that.
Well, just tell me what competitions you have coming up. I know last weekend you had several girls who played for the first time and went out and did very well.
Did great. So this weekend is Rose is playing Saturday against 4 different schools, and so that's going to be a big day for Rose. Friday night, Conley plays up in New Bern, and then Saturday in Wilmington, the juniors that want to participate are going to be playing at Dig and Dive in Wilmington, and that's part of the USAV Junior Beach Tour. So I think we have about 3 or 4 pairs going. That could get bigger by the end of the week. Who knows?
Just tell me about your numbers. I know one time we talked, you were going from like 20, 27 or 29 into the 50s. Where are your numbers right now?
So last season we ended at 29, and at the 60th person signed the documents today that they wanted to play all summer long and just come out there and practice. And again, there's no obligation. They don't have to play in a tournament. Some of them just want to come out there to stay in good shape for court ball, and some of them are just want to compete and go to tournaments every weekend. This is the 3rd weekend in a row I'm taking my youngest to a tournament, so that she wants to go out and compete. But it's various reasons why people come out, but they all love the sport.
Yeah. And what age group is it? Is it 12, 14, 16, 18, or
it is? And I think the youngest girl that I have signed up right now is 10, and the oldest girl is 17, which they would fall into the 18U.
Mm-hmm. And I think you said if a high school like Conley or Rose has teams, but if someone at South Central or Aiden Grifton, if they want to play and their school doesn't have a team, they can join another team.
Conley has someone on their team that's from South Central, and we at Rose have 2 kids from Aiden Grifton that have come to play with us. One has been with Rose ever since we started 3 years ago. We have the 2 clubs, and there's more. I was talking to the Eastern Division director today, and he said that in 2016, we have 7 schools. This year we have 11, and there's 3 more that have already expressed interest to join next year. And that's where they're running into the problem is they can't get all the games in New Bern. Right. So he's wanting us to get the courts in Greenville as well. So because he's having a hard time scheduling those games.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously really growing, and
it is.
The kids love it. It's fun to go out and watch, and obviously we got some good leadership here.
Absolutely.
If anyone wants to get involved, I guess they can still get involved in the program. What's the best way if someone wants to come? Do they show up and contact one of you guys?
The best way probably is just to go look on Facebook and search Carolina East Beach Volleyball, and it's there. And I check those messages all the time. So if that would be the best way, we have Instagram and Facebook, and that I would check those messages. Send me a message if they want to come out and play. We'd love to have anybody that's from the age right now, 17, 18, all the way to as young as you want to come, really.
Well, very good. All right, we'd like to thank Hearther Davenport, David Perkins for joining us. Go out to Sonic, watch some beach volleyball. It's a lot of fun, and get behind this grassroots effort to bring some courts to Greenville and support this growing sport. We'll be back in just a few moments, and we'll bring some of our participants on and let them talk about beach volleyball and what they like about it. Thank you, Heather, and thank you, David, for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, appreciate it.
Hey Greenville, are you tired of paying way too much for average food? Then plug Tiebreakers into your GPS and try some of our handcrafted plates. Tiebreakers does all the extra things that the chain restaurants don't do. We hand cut and bread our boneless wings, we hand patty our Angus burgers, we even hand cut and bread our own cheese sticks. Tiebreakers always goes that extra mile for you, our customer. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and caterings. Tiebreakers is your local spot for food, sports, and entertainment.
Find me the best price on quality tires.
Choose Pews.
Okay, find me automotive service that I can trust.
Choose Pews.
It's true. Choosy drivers searching for tires and service they can trust. Choose Pews.
Now through May 7th, when you buy 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, you can receive a $70 Visa prepaid card by mail. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion.
For quality tires and automotive service you can trust. Choose Pews, where your first price is the right price, guaranteed.
Hey craft beer fans, did you know that Tiebreakers now stocks over 50 craft beers? We have slowly added to our craft beer menu and are continuing to add new crafts weekly with your help. Stop by after work and try one of your favorite craft beers and enjoy one of our handcrafted appetizers, burgers, or salads. If you're serious about your craft beer, then find us on the Untapped app. Tiebreakers is your local spot for food, sports, and entertainment.
Welcome back to the Sports Route. We are here at Tiebreaker Sports Bar and Grill on Smithwick Drive here in Greenville. I'd like to welcome Hailey and Rahilly, who are two of our beach volleyball players here in Greenville. Rahilly plays some with the EJ East Carolina Junior Volleyball Club and doubles in beach volleyball. But just want to talk to you about how much this sport is growing and what you like about it. Rahilly, just tell me about beach volleyball. Why do you like it so much, and how did you get involved in it?
Hailey involved me in it. I started playing with her recreation, and then she told me to come out to beach, so I did, and I've loved it ever since. I like it. It's very calm, very relaxing. So.
Is that what you like about it, Hailey? It's a more laid-back atmosphere?
Yes, it's very laid back, and compared to indoor, you get a lot more touches, and you get to be involved a lot more, and it's really fun.
How difficult is it with the footwork and court coverage? I mean, it's two people versus six. You're in sand, so I mean, is that difficult to learn, or?
The court is actually smaller in beach volleyball, but in beach volleyball, you have to cover a lot more space, but you really just get a third, and then the middle third is just shared between you and your partner. And then it's very hard to run in the sand compared to indoor because you're so used to running on flat surfaces, but sand is very bumpy, so it's really hard to run in the sand.
And Rahilly, I know a lot of people watched the Olympics last year with April Ross and Carrie, or April Ross and Carrie Walsh. So did that influence you at all as far as playing beach volleyball, or get you interested in it, or is that something you watched?
Yeah, I did watch that. I just they really are inspiring. I want to play as good as them. Yeah, so they're very inspiring. Yes.
Yeah. Having played, you play court and beach. Just tell me the difference for you as far as the different skill level, court coverage, and playing in sand versus court.
Yeah, you have to. First there's wind, so there's a lot of ball, it's hard to watch, and going short and deep, there's only a couple of players to cover that amount of space, so it is a whole lot harder, and then you have to run a lot more, and it's hot, sometimes cold, so yes, it's a lot more difficult, but it's also super fun.
Yeah. They're trying to get some courts here in Greenville, so what do you think about that as far as the growth of the sport? I mean, how do you see that helping?
Especially it's going to help a lot for the club because we've grown at least over 30 players this year, and getting 4 courts is going to help a lot. And I think the environment's going to be great because it's going to be open, and we're going to have a lot of space to do just a bunch of practicing. Yeah.
Where do you see the sport going? I mean, it's gone from 29 to almost 60 players in Greenville. You see, I'm sure you tell your friends about it, but do you see it just continuing to grow?
Yes, I think it's going to continue to grow because more and more people come on as the weeks go by, and it's just going to be a great season because like I said, we've grown over 30 players, and we're going to have a lot more people playing in tournaments, so our name can be heard a lot more, and we can get more and more players.
Okay. All right. Well, we'd like to thank Hailey and Rahilly for coming on and talk about their experience with beach volleyball. But it's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch and fun to play. But thank you, girls, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Find me the best price on quality tires.
Choose Pews.
Okay, find me automotive service that I can trust.
Choose Pews.
It's true. Choosy drivers searching for tires and service they can trust. Choose Pews.
Now through May 7th, when you buy 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, you can receive a $70 Visa prepaid card by mail. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion.
For quality tires and automotive service you can trust, choose Pews, where your first price is the right price, guaranteed.
Hey craft beer fans, did you know that Tiebreakers now stocks over 50 craft beers? We have slowly added to our craft beer menu and are continuing to add new crafts weekly with your help. Stop by after work and try one of your favorite craft beers and enjoy one of our handcrafted appetizers, burgers, or salads. If you're serious about your craft beer, then find us on the Untapped app. Tiebreakers is your local spot for food, sports, and entertainment.
Josh, I think you're right. I am kind of nervous.
Me too.
Welcome back to the Sports Wrap. We are here at Tiebreaker Sports Bar and Grill in Greenville on Smithwick Drive. We're here for our Monday edition of our show. And I'd like to welcome Josh Starnes and Virginia Rahilly with the Rose High School team. We just had Riley and Hailey on to talk about Carolina East, and I'd like to thank Heather Davenport and David Perkins to come on to talk about how the sport has really grown. But first of all, Josh is from Aiden Grifton, but since Aiden Grifton doesn't have a team, he is on the Rose team. But just about the opportunity now for guys to play volleyball, because it's not available at the high school level. But I mean, you can come out and play beach volleyball. What's that meant to kind of come out and have that opportunity?
It's been good because before then there wasn't any boys teams, and I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? I tried to look for indoor teams, and the closest they had was all the way in Raleigh, and they didn't. So I looked around and I was like, and I went to a tournament, and so they were like, you should come play beach volleyball, and they was like, okay, and so they invited me to play, and it's been really nice because there's not a lot of opportunities for boys out here to play volleyball.
Now, how long have you played as far as on a competitive level?
This is my first year playing on a competitive level, but I've been playing. I've practiced with my sister for a while now, and she's the one that's really kind of got me into it.
And Virginia, did you play at Rose also on the high school team?
I played last year, yes. I'm a sophomore, so this is my second year.
Tell me the appeal of beach volleyball versus court.
I think it gives you an opportunity to move around a lot more, and in indoor you have 5 other people you're trying to coordinate what they're trying to do, and here it's just one person, so you if you've played with them long enough, you kind of get a feel for what they're going to do, so it's kind of like dancing on the court, which I think is pretty cool. So just getting to know your partner, and then it gives you more opportunities to work on skills and being a more well-rounded player.
And going to these other tournaments and playing other teams, are you starting to see people you've played against in the past? And I mean, I guess you form not only rivalries but friendships among that community, don't you?
Yes, we definitely see a lot of the same people, and then you see people who have graduated and come back. But I mean, we always have Conley as our rivalry, so I think that's the one we look forward to playing the most.
It never changes, does it?
No.
Now, Josh, coming to a new group, how tough has that been fitting in, getting to know people over here?
At first I was kind of nervous because I was like, I feel like I'm going to be the only boy out here. And then when I got there was like 6 or 7 other guys there, and I was like, dang, I'm surprised. And so they're all welcoming people. I just went out there and I started to talk to them and just put myself out there instead of keeping to myself.
Yeah. Where do you see the growth of this going? I mean, especially if they get the new courts here in Greenville, if they have 4 more courts. Where do you see the sport going? You see it can continue to grow in popularity?
I feel like if we just get the word out, there will be more interest from guys, and that's not a popular sport out here in the east of the country. And so I think that it will be a very good thing, because if we get more courts, we can have more tournaments. We can have more players being on the court at a time, and it would just be a really good opportunity.
Yeah. Now, Virginia, how do you find the competition level? Because high school teams are in Carolina East, they started these very young levels, develop their skills. High school teams obviously practice a lot and get very good. How do you find the competition now in beach volleyball? Is it a high level of play?
It is, because a lot of the girls have started in indoor, so a lot of them do play high school indoor volleyball, which is crazy competitive. And I didn't really start out at a young age, so I started in 7th grade compared to a lot of other people. That's kind of late. So it kind of gives you a higher level of play, and you tend to, if you play a harder team, you tend to play at their level, so it gives you like a good challenge and helps you improve a lot faster and better.
Now, what makes a good partner in beach volleyball? Do you have to have complementary skills, or do you have a lot of the same skills? Or?
I feel like you have to be able to communicate well with one another, and I think the key is to not get frustrated with one another, because you will make mistakes, but being able to talk to each other about it and how to improve and act on improving is always good. I play with my best friend, so we've always been good at talking to each other, and then maybe if they have some skills that you're not as strong in, so it kind of complements each other on the court, and I think that's always a good thing.
I guess she says that there's a lot more accountability with this. You can't point fingers at 4 other people or 5 other people. It's you and your partner. Is that Is that good or bad, or how do you see that?
I mean, it's probably mostly good because even if like your partner messes up, you can just go out there and be like, it's okay, you did fine. And then like hopefully when you go to practices, you can always try to work on them skills. Our coach always tries to get us to focus on one thing whenever we're playing and practicing. And he's like, just focus on that one thing for this time, and then you can improve at it and see how you did at the end.
Yeah, and I guess being two players, you've got to be engaged in every point because I mean you're going to get a lot of touches, and is that an exciting part of the game is knowing you get that many touches on the ball and that many opportunities?
It is, and that's one thing I like a lot more about beach than indoors because you always are part of the action. Like there's no way you can't be, and every single play you're most likely definitely going to get the ball if you're going to do the typical like set and hit kind of situation. So, I mean, it causes you to hustle a lot more, so I like it like that.
Now, this is a club sport now. Would you like to see it get to a point where, I mean, this is an actual sanctioned high school sport where you can compete?
Yes, I was actually just talking about this morning. I'm really excited for it to eventually become a team because every single year I've seen it grown a lot more just in like the past couple years I've been there, and I think it would be cool to see like our schools take us a little bit more seriously as like, oh, we are a competitive team and we are still like athletes on your level.
Yeah. Maybe the new courts will help push that along.
Yes, definitely.
But I know it's talking with Hearther. I think it started with just 9 teams in North Carolina. Now there's like 50 club teams. So
yes.
I think the High School Athletic Association might take notice and say, yeah, this is a big deal. But even where it's at now is exciting how much it's grown.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to thank Josh Starnes and Virginia for joining us. They are part of the Rose High School team, and they'll be, got a busy weekend coming up with, four games this weekend?
Yes.
So, yes, sir. We wish you the best of luck and continue to have fun. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, craft beer fans, did you know that Tiebreakers now stocks over 50 craft beers? We have slowly added to our craft beer menu and are continuing to add new crafts weekly with your help. Stop by after work and try one of your favorite craft beers and enjoy one of our handcrafted appetizers, burgers, or salads. If you're serious about your craft beer, then find us on the Untapped app. Tiebreakers is your local spot for food, sports, and entertainment.
Find me the best price on quality tires.
Choose Pews.
Okay, find me automotive service that I can trust.
Choose Pews.
It's true. Choosy drivers searching for tires and service they can trust. Choose Pews.
Now through May 7th, when you buy 4 eligible Bridgestone tires, you can receive a $70 Visa prepaid card by mail. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion.
For quality tires and automotive service you can trust, choose Pews, where your first price is the right price, guaranteed.
Hey Greenville, are you tired of paying way too much for average food? Then plug Tiebreakers into your GPS and try some of our handcrafted plates. Tiebreakers does all the extra things that the chain restaurants don't do. We hand cut and bread our boneless wings, we hand patty our Angus burgers, we even hand cut and bread our own cheese sticks. Tiebreakers always goes that extra mile for you, our customer. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and caterings. Tiebreakers is your local spot for food, sports, and entertainment.
Welcome back to the Sports Route. We are here at Tiebreaker Sports Bar and Grill in Greenville on Smithwick Drive. We'd like to thank Heather Davenport and David Perkins for stopping by. Also, Riley and Hailey, Virginia, and Josh for players in the Beach Volleyball League here in Greenville. Now we're going to take a look at the local sports scene, what we just had last week and what's coming up next week. Start on the college scene with ECU baseball. The Pirates had a tough weekend, lost 3 games to Houston and have now dropped in the AAC standings. Had an opportunity to talk with Cliff Godwin earlier today, and Cliff was very disappointed in the performance this weekend. Pirates played well Friday night and just lost, and he was very disappointed in the effort on Saturday and Sunday. Just didn't think it was a very inspired effort, and he used the word embarrassed, and not embarrassed in the program, but just embarrassed in the way the team went out and performed. there was some sickness going through with, I think Chris Hoba had a virus and could not pitch Friday night, so they have had some sickness going through the team, but no excuses for Coach Godwin. He guarantees a different effort next week at Tulane. He was headed to Greensboro today and then flying to Long Island, New York tomorrow, checking on a couple of players that are headed his way next year. But Pirates right now are at 8-7 in the American Athletic Conference and tied for fourth place. A drop from second to fourth after a 3-game sweep by Houston. Houston right now is 13-5 and pretty solidly in first place with 6 games remaining for Houston. South Florida's at 11-7. UConn's at 9-6. ECU and Cincinnati are at 8-7. UCF at 9-9. Tulane at 7-8. Wichita State 5-10, and Memphis at 2-13. Pirates have 12 games remaining, and you think they probably have to win at least 8 to get a regional bid. They were pretty much a lock going into the weekend, but after getting swept by Houston, now they're kind of borderline, and another couple of series lost. They need to take at least 2 out of 3 of these next 3 conference series, but they'll play at Tulane this weekend. They've got some non-conference midweek games against Norfolk State and at UNC Wilmington, and then one against Campbell on May 15th. Remaining conference series, they've got to play the 2 teams, one above and one below them. They'll play UConn May 11th through the 13th. That will be at UConn, and then Cincinnati, they play Cincinnati at home May 11th through 13th, and then at UConn May 17th through the 19th. That'll follow the Tulane series this weekend. Looking at Pitt Community College, the Bulldogs are 1 win from clinching first in Region 10. They've won 20 of their last 22 games and easily handled New River Community College this past weekend. New River was just no match. Only 10 players came in with only 6 wins on the year and no wins in conference play, and Pitt really manhandled them in 3 games. Dylan Patrick throws a perfect game on Sunday, 5-inning perfect game. That followed up a no-hitter he had against Lenore Community College a week ago. So Dylan's on a roll, 12 innings without giving up a hit. Offensive star was Joe Keonis Mason, the Wingate University transfer. Joe was just 4 home runs in 3 games, 10 RBIs. Had a double and a triple and scored 7 runs, but he hit the walk-off home run yesterday to put the 10-run rule in effect, and he's up to 459 now, which ranks 15th in the country in Division II as far as batting average. But he's just a tremendous player and has a bright future for some 4-year program that is going to give Joe a chance to play next year. But he hit 8 home runs as a freshman at Wingate last year, and now has 10 home runs this year with the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are ranked 15th in the latest poll, and that new poll will come out tomorrow, so good chance PCC can move up a little bit more. They started off in the first preseason poll at number 6, coming off that World Series appearance last year, then slipped out of the top 20 after a slow start, but now starting to creep its way back up. 17 2 weeks ago, and now 15 this week. Pitt Community College's softball team finished strong in the regular season. And they beat 10th ranked Florence Darlington 4-3, and then swept Patrick Henry Community College 6-5 and 13-5. So they are now 28-10 overall and 17-7 in the region, and they'll head into the Region 10 conference tournament as the number 2 seed behind Florence Darlington. Looking at the high school scene, quite a game last Friday night with D.H. Conley and J.H. Rose going at it. Hunter Christopher and Robbie O'Neill on the mound. Robbie had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning and was trailing 1-0. Hunter pitches a 3-hit complete game shutout. Rose takes it 1-0 to kind of avenge that earlier loss this year when Robbie struck out 15 and took a 4-1 win over at Guy Smith Stadium. Right now, Conley and Rose are tied at 8-2 in the conference and for first place with 2 games remaining in the regular season. So see how that pans out. But Conley is 18-4 overall. Rose is 16-4. Charlesby Aycock is third at 6-5. Newbern 5-6. South Central is at 4-6. Southern Wayne at 4-6, and Eastern Wayne at 1-9. So we essentially have a two-team race there in the Eastern Carolina 3A, 4A conference. Coming up this week, Conley Rose hosts Eastern Wayne on Tuesday night, on senior night, and then we'll travel to Southern Wayne on Thursday. Conley will wrap up the season on Thursday night at South Central. Turning to the Eastern Carolina 2A. North Lenore is 8-2. West Craven 7-3. Green Central 7-4. South Lenore is 6-5. Washington 5-5. Ayden Crifton 3-7, and Kinston is 0-10. In the Eastern Plains 2A conference, Nash Central is at 8-0. North Johnston is 6-2. Those two teams were tied heading into last week, but Nash swept a pair. Southwest Edgecomb's at 5-3. North Pitt 3-5. Farmville Central 1-7, and Bedingfield 1-7. North Pitt and Farmville Central split a pair of games last week. Farmville Central took a 1-0 win in the first game, then North Pitt came back and won that second game 7-5. Looking over at softball in the Eastern Carolina 3A, 4A, South Central just had a dominating run and is 10-0, 18-1 overall. Amazing stat in the last 7 games, which South Central scored in double figures. They've outscored their opponents 102-3 in the last 7 games. They will be at second place Charlesby Aycock on Tuesday, then host Conley on Friday. But South Central won those games 22-0, 12-0, 11-1, 16-0, 16-1, and 26-1. Aycock is second in the league at 7-2. Conley's at 6-2. Southern Wayne 5-4. Newbern's at 3-6. Rosa, which is making some improvements but still 1-8 in the conference. Eastern Wayne is at 0-9. Looking at Little League in the Greenville Little League, as they will finish up interleague play on Tuesday and then start league play, Tar Heel and North State play on Wednesday. But Coca-Cola right now in the North State League is 5-2. Overton's is 5-2. Physicians East and Optimus are at 4-3. Kiwanis and Ross Orthodontics are at 3-4. Host Lines is at 2-5, and Sylvan Learning at 1-6. Brown and Wood remains the only unbeaten team in Greenville Little League at 7-0. Remax is 5-2. Eastern Plumbing at 4-3. Carolina Windows and Doors is 4-3. Charmin Auto at 4-3. Pepsi Cola 2-5. EC Auto Truck Center at 2-5, and BB&T at 1-6. In the Winterville League, Dependable Contractor Royals in the major leagues is 7-1. The Brighton Braves are 5-3. NC Driving School Nationals 3-4. Camp Hatteras Pirates 5-4, and the Astros are 0-9. Nationals are 3-3. White Sox are 9-2 in the minor leagues. White Sox are 9-2. Dick's Sporting Goods 7-3. Zaxby's Red Sox at 6-4. Astros at 4-6. The Cubs at 3-8. The Pirates at 2-8. And in the rookie league, the Dash is 9-0. Shoe Carnival Hot Rods at 9-1. Computer Peripherals at 6-3. Storm is 5-4. River Bandits 4-6. Weatherly Insurance at 3-7. Grasshoppers at 1-8, and the Blue Rocks are at 1-9. That's a wrap for the standings and what's coming up this week. We thank you for joining us tonight here at Tiebreakers. So once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Tiebreakers Sports Bar and Grill and Pew's Tire and Service Center. Also like to thank Heather Davenport and David Perkins for coming on the show, along with Rahilly and Hailey, Virginia and Josh, for their participation participation in the show and just talk about the growth of beach volleyball. We'll be back at Tiebreakers next Monday at 6 p.m. Thank you for joining us.